Can you hear me? Yes, nod once for yes or twice no. Yes, excellent. Okay. Yeah, my name is Bruce Lindman, and I am your uninformed critiquer for the month. Um, this is actually the second time I've done this. I did a presentation for your group a couple years ago around Christmas time on bird photography, and then did the judging back then. I'm regularly a member of the Columbus, Ohio Photography Society, COPS, and I've been there for probably 5 or 6 years. And I've given a number of presentations there, such as the one on photography. I gave one that was very well received on editing landscape photos using dodging and burning to lead the eye around, lead your viewer's eye around the image. And I think the most fun one I did was on quantum physics and photography, because we actually got to do some quantum physics experiments in the session. So that was a lot of fun too. And I've been doing photography. Well, I started doing photography when I was in high school, just black and white photography. But we all know it takes some money and some time to do this. And so it kind of got shelved while I raised my kids. But after they were up and out of the house about 10 years ago, I started taking it up again more seriously. I also do have a couple other hobbies. Play a lot of chess. I do some woodworking, so I get to make my own frame for my photos. A couple other things as well. So that being said, let's get on with the critique. Now I get to experiment. We did once. I'm going to share my screen. Boom. Let's see. Start now. And let's go in. Don, should I be showing the scarlet or the gray first? That's not one.
Sorry about that, I was muted. Let's start off with the gray and then move to the scarlet.
Okay. Now it touches me. There we go. So start off with the gray. Okay.
Yes.
Gray winners. And just as an FYI, Donna, when you number these images,
Yes.
if you have more than 9 images in a file, number them all with 2 digits, because otherwise they show up alphabetically and not in the order that you want them.
Okay.
Go in and renumber a couple of these. So.
Okay, great.
Right.
We'll know that for the future. Perfect. Thanks.
Let's see now. So we're starting with the honorable mentions. I believe we had 5 award winners in each category. I'm going to see if I can remember when we get down to 5. Okay, so this one was an honorable mention, and let me see. I'm not sure who it's by here. I'm just showing this on my little screen. I like this image a lot. It has a nice mood to it. The only thing I would say is, and anybody who's heard me talk at the COPS meetings knows what I'm going to be saying a lot of, and that is cropping. You don't have to go with the aspect ratio that was in your that was in the image when you took it. So when I look at this image, love the boat, love the sky, love the grass, don't like what's over on the right-hand side there. I don't know what that is, if that's another boat or whether it's a bunch of tires or something. But if you cropped off the right-hand side, okay, just maybe halfway up that diagonal wire, you'd get rid of that. You'd still keep the nice grass, okay, and you'd have that boat, instead of being in the image, the boat would be coming into the image, even if it is like stuck in the even if it is grounded, okay, it would feel like it's like moving into the image. That's the only thing I'd say with this particular photo that I think could be done a little bit different, and that's easy to do in your processing. Other than that, I love this photo.
I might mention that is by Kelly Hayes.
Kelly A. Hayes, yeah. If you feel free to jump in and mention the names of the people on any of these images, because I'm not sure how I can pull them up easily and still show the full screen.
Okay, I'll do that.
Let's move over to the next one. So this one was in Peru. And I really like the composition on this. Nice depth of field. Okay, so this is Bruce Goldsmith. I like the colors on it. I think it's a really good shot. It seemed to me a little over sharpened, but then that can have to do with a lot with like what device you're viewing it on. Okay. Is Bruce Goldsmith in the meeting right now?
Yes.
Okay, so question for you, Bruce. Is that sky pasted in, or was that the sky that was there?
That sky was pasted in.
Okay, so what is the deal with the stuff at the top? It looks like there's brown stuff at the top.
Okay, I didn't notice that.
You see? Yeah, see what I'm saying there? It's like, and that.
Yeah, I know what it is. I put a texture in the background, and I probably didn't make it opaque enough on the top.
Okay. So being pasted in, those lines, the lines delineating the clouds from the mountain are really, really sharp. So that's one of the things that kind of gives it away, makes that stand out, makes it look a little bit odd that it's pasted in there. Okay. So you might want to look around and find a sky background that has more depth to it, I think, to put in there, and obviously like clone out that marbly stuff looking at the top.
Yeah.
You can probably do a content-aware fill or something. I don't know. I'm not a Photoshop expert.
Thank you.
Okay. Next one. Oh, yeah. This is just a really nicely technically done image. I think it has a nice bokeh in the background. You got the butterfly parallel to the plane, to the image plane. So you got that all nicely in focus. It's a very pretty shot, and it also has nice composition to it. It's really tempting to just take pictures of bugs and stuff in macro, and that can be cool, okay? But to do one, to take just a moment and say, hey, let's line this up and actually make a nice image out of it, that shows. So I thought this was a nicely done image. Okay. Boom. This one again, also, I think this is really technically well done. The reflections on the street and everything, I think you got really, really good exposure on it. Composition-wise is what I think is this image needs. Okay.
High ISO, which you could see some noise in the up in the sky there and everything. But yeah, I was pleased at f2. It held up pretty well.
This was f2. I would have thought this was f5 or 6 at least.
It was wide open. I was pretty pleased.
Okay.
With that. Anyway, enough about that.
Oh, well, okay. What's the focal length on it? What kind of lens?
Oh, it was that was a 23, which on a Fuji X2 is a 35 millimeter equivalent.
Okay, that's really nice depth of field then. And you got some nice starburst patterns there. They're not overwhelming, but they're very nice. So, okay, let's move on.
Okay.
So I think this is number 5, okay? Yes, this is a picture of flowers, but I think it's really well done. I think whoever took this took a moment to explore the scene and find out, like, was very aware of the background. Too often you take a picture of a flower, okay, and you're not really paying much attention to the flowers behind it or the background behind it. But this one, you either got really lucky or you actually put some thought into what the entire image is going to look like. I think you nailed the focus in the right place, and the composition is nice. So, congrats.
So is
Number
by
5.
Nancy Tinker Gray.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
This
hear?
is Nancy.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah.
Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. Was this taken at Innis Woods?
No, it was at the Park of Roses.
Park of Roses. Okay,
Right.
that makes sense.
In June. Yeah.
Haven't been there in many, many, many years.
I hadn't either. This was the first time.
Whose image is this?
This is by Roberta Kane.
Hi, Roberta Kane. Okay, nice image. This is an infrared.
I don't think she's with us.
Oh, she isn't. Okay, so this looks like an infrared image to me, and I'm not a big fan of infrared images. I mean, they have that.
It is infrared. It is infrared.
Yeah.
Roberta does a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, they have like a wow factor to begin with, but then it's like, okay, it's an infrared. But what I liked about this was the composition of it. Okay, so a lot of times when people do reflection shots, they feel like they need to put the horizon or the shoreline in the center of the image, and that's not necessary. Okay, I think this is much more interesting with it placed on top, so we can't even see all the trees except in the reflection. I think that's a creative way to do it. So, and otherwise, again, very technically well done, very sharp, very good exposure, etc. So let's go on. Okay, so this would be number 3, I guess, number 3.
Third place. This is Richard Marquardt.
Richard Marquardt, okay. Street photography shot. Street photography is something I don't really do. I've gone out for like 1 or 2 sessions, never felt comfortable with it. But this is really nicely done. You saw the moment, you captured it, it's cute. And I think you will put it in this 1:1 crop, which I guess is not that uncommon for street photography. Really works well in this image though. So again, it's one thing to just take pictures of people on the street, but this has a sense of composition to it, and I really liked it. And of course, it's just adorable. So, did you, if you're in the meeting, did you talk to this person? Did they know you took their shot?
They did not. I had the camera. I had my back turned and watched her out of my left eye, and then I snapped the shot, and turned back around again. But I posted it on Instagram, and she saw it some of her friends saw it about 2 days later, and she ended up contacting me, and I gave her a print of it. So
good. I mean, if somebody goes out like this, okay, and dresses their dog up, it's not like they're wanting privacy. They want to be seen. So I mean, I don't know, if you do a lot of street photography, you might just have some cards printed up. And if you see a shot like this, or if somebody, sees you taking their shot, it can kind of break the ice if you say, hey, look, if the image comes out, I'll send you a copy or something like that, just give them a card. But yeah, this is really cute. Very cute.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we're at number 2 now. Okay, so I like this image. This is what I call like a big sky image, and I've been wanting to do a series of big sky images where the landscape itself is just a minor portion, which just kind of accents the sky itself. And this qualifies as that. Nicely processed, good sense of composition. It works well as black and white too. And let's see. Go to the next one, and this is number 1, Yosemite. So I was at Yosemite last fall, and I was a little bit hobbled because I was like stuck with my parents, so could only go where they went. But the thing I found disappointing about Yosemite is it's very difficult to take shots that haven't been taken literally a million times before. Okay, you got the geyser. Okay, you got the Yellowstone Canyon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So whoever took this shot, what's the name, please?
Sandy Siegel.
Sandy Siegel. Okay, I think you did a really nice job of exploring the scenery and then composing the shot that you wanted. I love the balance in this photo. I love the color contrast, the contrast in the image. The only critique I had on this, if you're in the meeting here, is this the one tree here that's got like no branches up and sticking up in front. It's just a trunk. Was that like dodged at all to make it a little brighter? It's got these little yellow stripes on it that look like they were almost accented. Am I wrong on this?
I don't think he's here.
No,
Oh, he's
I'm
not.
on. That's what it looked like.
That's what it looked like. So you didn't do any dodging or burning in it?
I didn't, not on that tree.
Okay. I would almost say go ahead and do a little burning on it. For some reason, those 2 like horizontal stripes on that tree just like kind of like keep drawing me back to that one tree, which is not the most interesting part of the image. So if that was just toned down a bit, you could even leave them in there, but just make them a little darker. Otherwise, I really like the shot. I love the colors in it. I love the S curve in it. Everything about it's great. I think that's all of the, was that Scarlet's?
Great.
That was the gray. So any questions on the grays? Does anybody want to make some comments? We can go back to look at any of the images as well.
Who did the second place?
That was Libby Rosen.
Libby Rosen.
Libby Rosen.
Yeah, that's a printable shot. That'd make it like a nice accent photo, you know, in a room, I think. Okay, let's move on to the Scarlet winners. Boom, Scarlet winners. Okay, and I see who's number 5 here. Okay, Scarlet winners. All right. Who shots this?
Rick Bartelt.
Who?
I'll unmute here.
Rick there.
Okay. So this was taken in Venice, I assume,
Yes.
and not like, you know, Venice Disney World or something like that.
No.
All right. So this is a really pretty shot. Your lighting is just perfect in this. Again, I'm going to say cropping, and this is why. Left-hand side of this image, not that interesting. And when you're in Venice, okay, you have these narrow canals with these tall building walls, right? So I'm guessing that's why that gondola is so close to the right-hand side. Maybe it was actually crowded in there, and there was stuff on to the right of it that you didn't want to show up.
Yeah, and actually I did crop it from above because, like you say, the walls just seem to kind of go up forever then, and affects the lighting quite a bit too. So I brought down the cropping actually from the top, but I see what you're saying, could bring it in a little bit more on the left.
Yeah, I would say on the left, and make this a tall, thin, vertical shot, just like the scene itself was tall and thin and vertical. I mean, the path that they go down, the canals are very thin, and they're like little vertical canyons, right?
That's right.
So
yeah.
if you do that, I think that'll put even more emphasis on the two gentlemen, the gondoliers who are talking. And then I think you got a really cool shot. You might even try, I mean, if you crop that down there, it's already pretty vertical, but just on a lark, you might try cropping in on the left and crop less on the top and see what kind of effect that has. Actually make it taller. I don't know how far up those buildings went, okay? But you'd get another effect. It'd almost be like the men were like embedded in the city, you know? So I think definitely crop in the left, and then toy around with whether you want to keep that amount of crop on the top. Okay. Next, honorable mention. Okay. Oh, what beautiful colors in this. The sky wasn't really cooperating with you. It's not that interesting, but the colors on this, the reds and the blues and the yellows, etc., are just beautiful. You took this shot. Whose shot is this?
That's mine too.
Okay. So you took the shot because you saw this beautiful boat coming in. Okay. I can't help think that there might have been a better shot of this boat. Okay. Rather than, it looks like it was taken at eye level. Okay. It was a beautiful thing, a beautiful moment that just happened in front of you, and you took the shot. Okay. But as far as like the composition, it's a boat coming in. Okay. But maybe if you could have found something in the foreground, etc., to kind of add a little more interest to this. And then really make something special out of this.
I took a series of 3 shots. That was the best. We were at a restaurant, and I just had one of the small cameras with me, so I wasn't really going anywhere.
Right. So you couldn't get up and move around. So yeah. But that's the issue.
It was very limited.
Yeah, that's the issue with the shot. I mean, okay, so you had the opportunity while you were at the restaurant, and you took the shot. That's great. It's a pretty shot. It's not going to be one of your best shots, okay, because you didn't have the opportunity to make it one of your best shots. Yeah. So, I mean, if you really wanted to be dedicated, you could like find out when the boat's coming in the next evening and just be there for it. You know?
But I'd rather eat. I mean, I had lobster.
Well, that's the problem. Photographers can't afford to eat, okay? Let alone lobster.
I had the camera with me.
All righty. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. Whose shot is this?
Sharon Talatnik.
Sharon. Okay. I really like this shot. I think you picked the right like Dutch angle for this. You processed it very well. Do you use Lightroom or like a Nick? I'm guessing you used like one of Nick's plugins to process this.
Yeah, probably Nick.
Yeah. But you did a really good job with it,
Thank you.
bringing out all the tonal variety in it.
Thank you.
Okay, okay, whose image is this?
It's mine, Jerry Williams.
Okay, Cherry. I like this image. I like the concept. I like the composition of it. Here's what jumps out at me, okay? This is a styrofoam head, right? Well, not hers, but the black one is a styrofoam head.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like a styrofoam head. Okay, you can see the detail of the styrofoam in the head. And that kind of like jerks me back, okay?
Mhm.
I don't know if you could do like a skin smoothing tool or something on the styrofoam head itself, okay? So that you still have like those little highlights, but you don't have the texture,
I see.
okay? And then the other thing is, this is a composite, obviously, of two different images, but the image of the real woman is bleeding into the orange part. You can see her hair is bleeding down there. The parts of her shoulder are bleeding across as well, okay? And that makes it look like a composite image rather than like she's just kind of framed in this other profile.
I see
You know
that
what I'm saying? Yeah, so smooth that out or use a different masking technique. Like I said, I'm not that good at Photoshop, okay? But if you did this in Photoshop, I'm sure they have a way of just saying, hey, I just want to mask all this orange stuff, okay? And have it like, have it pure orange rather than have nothing bleeding through it.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Jerry, you can blame that on the cataracts.
On the
That's
cataract.
exactly
Okay.
right. Now I'll be fine.
But you can again, if you use the right masking tool in Photoshop, I think that you could just do a 100% mask, and then nothing would show through. So you obviously took some time to set this shot up and decide what you wanted to do with it. Okay, so and if you're going to spend that kind of time on it and this concept, then get it perfect. Okay. Another shot that I like. I just think it's very creative. Again, to have the girl doesn't have to be, you know, the brightest thing in the shot. I like the fact that you got the flowers there. Whose shot is this?
This
Go
is
ahead and speak up. Who?
Noah Silliman.
Noah Silliman. Okay. Again, I think it's a really nicely done shot. I think you get the focus right and the composition is sweet. So well done.
He's our high school member.
A high school member. Okay. Okay. This shot here. Whose shot is this?
That's mine, Vicki Warren.
Okay, Vicky, I must apologize because I was looking through the shots again this evening. I was like, yeah, this should have been in the top 5.
Oh.
But now I can't really boot somebody else out of it. Okay. The only thing I have on this, and again, this may be a little bit nitpicky, okay, is getting your lines vertical. So if you look over to the left side of the shot, okay, that one line is not vertical. Okay. Yes, it's picky, but okay, when you think about it, you know, ballet is supposed to be this image of perfection, okay? That's what we get when we think of a ballet dancer, precision and perfection. And so the fact that that line is out kind of like reflects on the whole image. And also the nice thing about this image, besides the beautiful job you did with the high key, really, really beautiful job with high key.
Thank you.
I don't take a lot of high key images, and this is just sweet. Okay, the other thing is that you have these contrasts between the girl's curves, the curves of the flowing skirt, the curves of her shoes, contrast between that and these harsh square lines on the wall and in the background. And I think for that contrast to work, those lines need to be vertical. Okay.
Okay, I have a question about that because if I made those lines vertical, I'm not sure the girl, because that's the way they were in the house. This was an old house in Cuba.
Well,
And
this
so
probably has to do with the angle you took. You're slightly above the center, and you've got the camera pointed down slightly. That's probably why it's not vertical.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And here's the other thing. Doesn't matter what the house looked like. Whoever is viewing your image has no idea what the house looks like. They only
Okay,
have an
so-
idea of what the house is supposed to look like.
So if if I turn it so they're vertical, would the girl be out of line then?
No, no, no. As a matter of fact, she is lined up with the center corner of the house, okay,
Yeah.
of the room, which is perfectly vertical. I'm sure in Lightroom or in Photoshop, you can just bring in that left top corner just a little bit, okay, without warping the entire image. I mean,
Oh,
if you do it and it
okay.
warps the image, if you do it and it warps the image, then obviously ignore that advice, okay? But I think you only need to bring in that little bit, okay? This is a
Okay.
distortion. This is a distortion because of perspective, okay?
Okay.
It's because you were probably a little taller than this girl and had that camera pointed slightly down at her rather than
Okay.
horizontal.
Okay.
That's image distortion that needs to be taken care of. So other than that, it was a really beautiful photo. Was this a girl you knew?
No, this was a model that I was on a tour in Cuba, and they had models come into this old mansion and pose for us.
Ah, okay. So there's a photographer's tour of Cuba?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah, it was very nice.
All righty. Let's move on. So this was this number 5? I don't think.
This
this
is
is number.
honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Yeah, very nice shot of a flower. Got good depth of field on this, good composition on it. I think you need a little bit more focus on the, I don't know, is it the pistils or the stamens that are sitting in front there? Okay, those are a little bit out of focus. And I'd rather have them sharp than like have that crisp sharpness in the background. Ideally, both would be sharp. So, you know, maximize your
lens,
depth.
baby lens.
Oh, lens baby. Okay,
Yep.
that's a.
And it's really, really
bit of a
hard to
challenge.
focus because it's manual focus, and I have pretty
Yeah.
bad eyes.
Okay.
But,
So my
yeah, I
question
would
then
love
would
to
be-
have gotten more in focus, but thank you.
Okay, but my question would be then why did you choose a lens baby lens when that's really for like special effects and you don't need any special effects on this? You see what I'm saying?
Because I'm learning
don't know.
something new.
I don't know what you got out of using a lens baby lens on this.
What I got out of it, joy.
Is this the lens baby? This is one of the ones that has like, it's almost like a tilt shift type of thing where you can actually move it, right?
No, this was the Velvet 56.
Oh, and what does that do?
Does not tilt.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay. What is the Velvet 56 supposed to do?
It adds a glow, and it at the lower f-stops, it does a lot of bokeh in the back and kind of glow.
Okay. But again, you really don't have a background here, so this is not highlighting bokeh.
Yeah.
So I would say this would have been better shot with a lens that had a little bit higher depth of field on it. That's all. Use those creative lenses for really creative purposes. Okay, so this is number 5. Okay. Whose shot is this, please?
Richard Marquardt. Wake
Richard. Okay. Wake up, Richard.
I'm here.
Let's see. So, obviously, you saw the image you wanted to take before the image occurred. I mean, you had to place yourself in the right spot to get the reflection you wanted, get the camera settings that you wanted, and then wait for something to happen. And it shows in this. You got a really nice shot out of it. Everything's crisp in the reflection, etc. And it just kind of like it blends in there really, really nicely. You know, this is the type of shot that makes you do a bit of a double take. What? It's almost like, of course, I have to compare this to like something like the MC Escher. It's a style of shot as this. So there's a compliment. MC Escher? You're not familiar with MC Escher?
I am not.
So MC Escher was a Dutch artist, okay, and he did a lot of mathematically oriented drawings and engravings, but also he did a lot with reflections. If you look him up, you will immediately recognize some of his more famous works.
It's better if you're smoking something too.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. So MC Escher, Escher. Do yourself a favor tonight and look up an album of some of his engravings and drawings, especially some of his that do reflections. Two of the most famous ones. Well, he's got one called Three Worlds, okay, which actually uses reflections to show, I think, trees, skies, and fish all in one image. And then another one I'm thinking about is when he did of just a reflection of a forest in the puddle from a tire track. But he did a lot of other stuff too. Look him up. I think you'll enjoy it.
I'll look it up. I just had saw really unusual reflection and just waited for somebody, for some people interesting to come by. So
yeah, yeah. Well, and you didn't just take a picture of the reflection. You waited because without those people in it, it would not be much of a shot. Okay, it needs those people in it. They add action to it, and they add points of interest. So very nicely done.
thank you.
So this is that was number 1, right? All right, number 5. Number 4, and this is Donna Winters.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Nice shot. Was this taken at the zoo?
No, that was on the river down here by where I live.
On the river. Okay, okay. And this is a great blue heron.
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, what's nice about this is you didn't take a picture of a great blue heron. Okay, you took a picture of like shapes and forms and textures, not a picture of a great blue heron and symmetry. So this is not bird photography. This is art photography, and it's very nicely done. One of my favorite photo sessions I ever did, and as a matter of fact, I had a bunch of prints made up from it, was I went to the Columbus Zoo with a 500 millimeter lens, and I set myself the challenge of not taking a single picture of any entire animal. Okay, all I did was I used that 500 millimeter lens, and I tried to find out what was iconic or interesting about the animal, where the interesting patterns were, where the interesting forms were. And then I came home and I edited them heavily, okay, that with cropping and bringing out, I did a lot of what you did here, where you make the background dark to kind of isolate the portion that you want. And I would say that is a great exercise for anybody to do, okay? It's just grab your longest lens, okay, and then go out to some site and say, I am not going to take a picture of any entire object. I'm just going to take pictures of patterns and textures, and you get images like this, which I think are really nice, really stunning.
Thank you.
Did you process this in Lightroom, Photoshop?
This was all
What was this processed in?
Photoshop.
All photo. Okay, okay. All right. Okay, picture of horses in fields. Okay, so often like overdone. All right, but this one is just really nicely subtle. It has a nice balance of colors, has a nice balance of like the forms of the animals. You've got the focus on the foal there, but the other horses are also present, but they're not stealing focus from the foal. I understand you probably took lots and lots and lots of shots of this. Whose image is this?
This is Libby Rosen.
Libby, yeah. I'm guessing that this was out west, and you probably took at least 10, maybe 20, maybe 30 shots of these horses. Part of the skill of photography is picking out the images that you want, the images that are the best, and I think you've got a good eye for it here. Beautiful lighting, too. So very nicely done.
Thank you.
And then let's see. All right, so now we're number 2. Okay, this is Conkle's Hollow, and I had to, put this in the top 5 because Conkle's Hollow is one of my bugaboos. I have been there several times. It is just an absolutely beautiful place. I've never gotten an image there that I thought was really, really good. My other one is Honey Run Falls. Been there so many times. Never got an image that I was really satisfied with, and I've seen great images of Honey Run Falls. But like at Conkle's Hollow, you didn't do what I always do, which is the mistake of saying, hey, this is a great, majestic place. I want to get the entire place in one image. And that just fails. Sometimes you can't capture that majesty. But by focusing in on these lights and the shadows, I think you captured the spirit, the feeling of Conkle's Hollow without feeling you needed to get like the grandeur of it, So, and again, this is also nicely processed. You did a good job with the textures and the tones and bringing out just enough of those light rays without overdoing it. So, congrats on this one.
I had to run out for a minute. Who did this one?
Dale Berlin.
Okay.
Gail Berlin. So,
Okay.
congratulations, Gail. You got one of the shots that I've been wanting to get for years. So, very nice.
Thank you.
And the last one, whose shot is this?
Also Dale Berlin.
Oh, now wait, we can't have that. All right, so number one. Again, what a beautiful shot of a scene which might like just pass by other people. Okay, you have an eye for the textures and the colors and the lighting, and you do a really nice job of processing. This is just a beautiful, simple type of photo, but just beautifully done. I have a couple shots like this that I have taken, and they turned out to be some of my favorites. My favorite shots are just like images of grass, get some reflection in the water, etc. Got some nice images like this when I was at Acadia National Park. Just very pretty, very pretty. And
Thank you. It's a
that's
shore of Lake
it.
Michigan.
So any questions or comments? Lake Michigan, but it doesn't matter where it is, does it?
No.
It could be anywhere. This could be Alum Creek. Okay, this is a timeless, placeless image. All right. So any other comments on these? This is the Scarlet, right?
Right.
Get them mixed. The Scarlet images.
Right.
Any we want to revisit. Okay. Now we're going to go to a critique. I'm going to pick on somebody. Okay. This image here is by, is it Eric Reidinger?
Yes.
Eric? Okay. And Eric, you submitted several images. Okay. Do you live here in Delaware? I'm up in Delaware.
No, I live in Columbus, but I go to Delaware a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I live in Delaware a lot. Pass by this building all the time. Okay. And of course, like many people, the road goes right by there. So many people pass by this building all the time. And it is an interesting building. Okay. It's a beautiful building. But the shot you took of it is what everybody sees as they pass by. Okay. And one of the pieces of advice I would like to give to people is if you see something really, really interesting, okay, like the gentleman shot with the boat coming into the harbor, quick, take a picture of it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Take a shot of it and then stop because you've captured what the building looks like. That mission is accomplished, okay? Now stop and ask yourself, what was it that you found interesting about this? Okay, and then let's take a picture of that. You had one or two other images. I believe you had an image of it looked like a stable or something, like maybe taken down at the park in the Columbus Park that has the working farm.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, that one. Lots of interesting things in that shot, okay? But the shot looked like it was taken from eye level rather than really exploring it, okay? So take the shot. Okay, hey, I'm in a neat spot. This is not someplace people go all the time. I got that image. Now I need to actually create a work of art out of it, okay? And I want to illustrate with this because I did the same thing with this building myself a few years ago, okay? It's like I got the shot of the building. Now, what's interesting about it? Well, what was interesting about it to me was the roof, okay, and the negative space, all right? The shapes around the roof and the shapes that the roof makes contrasting to the building itself, okay? So I walked around the building and ended up with this shot, okay?
Oh.
So that's the same building,
Yeah.
all right? Taken from a different angle. This is not an angle that people see when they drive by. As a matter of fact, I've shown this shot at the Delaware Arts Festival, okay? And even people in Delaware, about half of them don't recognize it. And I have to say, that's the train depot. Like, oh, but they don't see it from that angle, okay? And they see the whole building rather than focusing on it. So what I liked about this shot, what made this one of my favorite shots, was all the negative space around the roof. Okay. Matter of fact, I clipped off the top of the roof to create a separate negative space there. Yes, I did some processing on it. Matter of fact, this was my original shot.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a raw, unprocessed, not even basic processing in it. Okay. But once I had that shot, once I had the roof that I wanted, then I could go in and say, well, I want to tilt it. I want to make this bottom portion level. I want to get this Dutch angle to add drama to it. I used a grunge technique to process it, which heightens the clarity, but then lowers the vibrance. And then I brought the vibrance back up again on the bricks, and I darkened the windows. And then again, that sky is not pasted in. All that information was in the file itself. Okay, but I was able to process it and bring that out. And this was all done in Lightroom. I think the only little bit of trickery that I added in there was, you can see on the roof, there's a little bit of green mold or green fungus growing there.
Yeah.
That wasn't there. I actually created that because I wanted something to contrast with the orange. Okay? But again, if you look at this, this is what you get from exploring and saying, okay, I want to really focus in on what is iconic about this building, not the whole building itself, just what is iconic about it. And that gets back to the shot of Conkle's Hollow. Again, that was a shot of what is iconic about Conkle's Hollow, and it wasn't a shot of Conkle's Hollow. Okay, the photographer was not trying to capture everything in Conkle's Hollow. Okay. And also gets back to Donna Winter's image, okay, where, okay, she showed the whole animal, but she wasn't trying to take a picture of a blue heron, okay? She was the way she processed it, she was trying to create a work of art that actually shows patterns and textures and shapes and forms, okay? That's what you need to think about. So I would challenge you, and you weren't the only one. I mean, this is a common issue, okay? I've heard portrait photographers say, and maybe whoever was the street photographer here, maybe they can agree with me or disagree with me on this, that if you're taking portraits, okay, you should take a picture of the person, and then you should cut the distance in half and take another, and then you should do that again, okay, cut it in half again and take another, and then maybe even do it one more time, okay? Because we have this tendency to want to get the entire figure in the image. That is not necessarily the best. That is not necessarily the most interesting image. So, and I will open that up now for other people to critique my critique if they want. Say, no, I do like this, I don't like this, etc. Go ahead and turn the tables on me now if you want.
No, I enjoy critiques, and you're correct. Thank you.
Okay. So it is 8 o'clock now, and we've gone through all the images and my critique. We can toss that back to Donna. Another thing we could do is open this up if anybody else wanted to have their image critique, if they wanted to have it viewed, etc. Because I mean, I had comments to make on lots of the images, lots of the images. But I only did this critique on this one because I thought it was a general info thing.
Would anybody
Donna,
like,
what do you want to do?
would anybody like one of their photos critiqued or ask questions?
I'm going to stop sharing. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So whose shot was this?
Ted Stone.
Okay. So obviously wide angle. Was this a fisheye or close to it?
Wide angle.
Okay. What's the issue? There's a couple of issues I have with this shot. Okay. You're having fun with the fisheye. That's cool. First time I got a fisheye lens, I took it into a cave. And I went taking pictures, and that was the only lens I took in a cave, okay? So you need to experiment around with them to see what the effects are, etc. But as a shot itself, this needs to be either level, okay, or intentionally at an angle to create drama, okay? And this just looks like it's a little kilter, all right? So if it's a fisheye, maybe you don't want to fix all of the the rounding distortion. Maybe you can't, okay? But it does need to be at least level. All right. And the image itself, because fisheye is so wide, you have like black things on the left or right, and they just kind of like get in the way. I don't think they add anything to the image. It almost looks like the lens itself is being cut off like part of the system. And then the woman in it, okay, it's good to have a point of interest in it. I think it's good to have a person there, okay? But we can't see her face. She's mostly in shadow, etc. So playing around fisheye lens, this is a fun shot, okay? But then, to take it to the next level, you need to treat it the same way you treat any other lens, okay? After a while, the fisheye itself becomes a gimmick, and you know that. You have to use that fish enough so that you know what it's going to be, okay, and use it to its best. Fair enough?
Yeah, actually, it was a 14 to 24 millimeter. It wasn't fisheye, but it did.
Okay. I was just on a frame.
Let's see.
Was it a frame camera?
It was 14 to 24, and I was probably pretty much close. It was a zoom lens, and I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, but was it on a full frame camera or crop center?
I use a micro four thirds.
Micro four thirds. Oh, I really can't speak to that. I mean, this looks to me like a 14 millimeter shot on a full frame. I don't think it would get that kind of distortion. I mean, I have an 11-18 that I use a lot on crop sensor, and even I don't think I get much distortion to it. Anyway, the issues are the same. The issues are the same. Okay, you're playing with these wide angles and stuff. You got to be aware that everything is in the shot. All right, if it's this way, you have to be aware of everything in the environment. And again, these black boxes or whatever they are in the left and right hand corners, they really add anything to the shot. And the person themselves, if they're going to get a point of view, step around to the hand side and actually get them, rather than just their backs. Okay?
Thank you.
Anybody else have comments on this? Anybody disagree with me on it?
I wouldn't mind getting your comments on another one if you wouldn't mind.
No problem.
Is that okay? Let's see.
Sure.
Are we in scarlet?
One of yours.
This was gray. Oh, let me get here. I lost scarlet. Oops. Sorry about that. Sorry. Gosh. Where night?
I have one that I like really a lot that isn't mine.
So is this on screen share?
Yes,
Here.
I can see it. This is yours again, Donna?
Pardon? Pardon me?
This is your again, Donna?
Yeah, it is. Uh-huh.
This is your shot?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Donna, I think when I was like taking photos 2 years ago, you had a shot of, again, it was black and white. I believe it was black and, okay. And he had some sort of like frame, like a white frame around, you know what I'm talking about?
Bruce, you're breaking up a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Donna, 2 years ago when I did a critique for your club, I think you had an image of a black man done black and white. It was like double framed, like it had like white frame. He was like holding one frame maybe around him, and then there was some black frame around that as well. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
No, I don't think it was one of mine. I don't. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I do remember.
Okay.
Yes. It was
All
a
right.
guy
That's
meditating,
what it was.
sitting
Okay.
by a window.
All right, this shot. So a panning shot, okay, to get kind of movement and everything. It's a nice shot. I don't know if done anything else with it. It didn't sound like a top 5 though. It did the panning shot, but other than that, it doesn't have the creativity that you'd put to say that blue image.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think compositionally, the girl is a little close to the left-hand side. That's all I. Otherwise, I think it's a fine shot.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Does
you.
anybody else want to have comments on this image?
I had one of wheat, a close-up of wheat.
I like that one, actually. I know which one you're talking about. Donna, you want to bring that up?
Was that in scarlet, Sharon, or gray?
I just saw it right there somewhere. It's
Okay.
Ohio.
Let me get up
Go
here.
back. Go back. I
Yeah,
think it was-
I'm just trying to, I will. I'm just trying to get to the right screen here. There we go. Oh gosh, this is driving me nuts.
Oh, no.
This one? The green?
Well,
No,
that
wheat.
one. He can do that one too. That's mine too. I couldn't remember what I put in.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on this one, actually.
Okay.
I'd like to comment on this one. Can you bring it any larger?
Yep. There you go.
No, not that one. The previous one of the sign.
This one?
It was one you had up before that, so maybe the left arrow or the right arrow or something.
All right, let me see.
Where's the Franklinton sign, Donna?
Oh gosh, I've
Yeah,
got
the
this
Franklin
kind of
sign,
on
yeah.
a goofy.
Oh, it's right on the
Clear
end
at the
there.
far
It's
right.
on the end.
So I'm just going to say my piece on Franklinton
Right on
sign,
the end.
and there were several others that had the same. What's that? Keep going.
I'm not getting back to
You
the.
can just click the image. You don't have to go
There
left, right.
we go.
You just click
There
on
we
the
go.
image.
I'm trying
There
to
were-
find the image. I'm sorry. I'm.
Here's my problem with this image, and a lot of images.
Okay.
Oh, that's it. You got it. You got it. That's the one we want to look at. Yeah. Okay. So there's several images that I have the same concern about. Okay. You're taking a picture of somebody else's art.
Right.
If you're going to do that, there were several pictures with pictures of other people's. Did you know that it's legal to sell a photograph of the Eiffel Tower at night?
Hey, Bruce, you're breaking
Yes?
up pretty bad. Is it something to do with the way you're sitting with your?
Maybe. If I sit back here, does this any better?
Oh. That
Am I
seems
too
to be a little
loud?
better. Can everybody
It
hear
may
that?
also be more people are unmuted.
That might be. Hey,
Again, if you're
guys.
talking, please mute.
Yeah, everybody mute your screen. Mute yourself, I mean. That it probably is part of it.
Okay, so I'll start again. You're taking a picture of somebody else's art, and I don't know if any of you are aware of this, but it's actually illegal to take and sell a photograph of the Eiffel Tower.
Huh.
If you the Eiffel Tower is copyrighted, its light display is copyrighted, and if you take an image of it that features that light display, you can't sell it. Okay, because it belongs to somebody else. That's an extreme example. But again, this is a picture of art. If we're going to get a picture of art, you need to add something significant to it. I don't see anything significant added to this image. You need to add something significant by, say, maybe using it as a background for a model, or if it's actually capturing from a different angle and using it to frame something, etc. But you need to add some sort of creativity rather than, I'm just going to picture of art that somebody did.
If you had done
And
it with a
images like
different
that
angle,
I think
would
fell
that
into
make a
that
difference?
category.
Say
Okay,
that again,
thank you.
Sharon.
That's all right. Thank
For
you.
this one, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think the angles make the difference here. Okay, if you use the colors as like a backdrop, something else, that would be color shapes
Okay.
are in the image. Okay? If you wanted a picture of like you're doing a photo series, okay, of Ohio, It might use as a place setting shot. Says, hey, this is where we are, type of
You're
thing.
breaking up, I
But then
think.
you put some sort of person or something in there.
Okay,
Back to it.
thank you.
So, did you want the wheat image?
If you want to, somebody else might like a turn.
Anybody else?
I wanted one, but go ahead, Sharon first.
Well, that's okay. He's done a couple of mine. So.
Well,
Okay.
I'll just say I remember the wheat image. Okay, it's not very nicely done. Okay,
Is this the right image, guys?
it had good
No.
texture to it.
No, it's not that
No,
one.
no, no. Like it was like strands of wheat.
Donna, I have one called Got the Blues. It's in Scarlet.
In Scarlet, okay. So we're in Scarlet, so let me know.
Why don't you look for that one, Don? I'll just say I love the wheat image. Okay, it just didn't stand out. Okay, it was a nice study in texture. The wheat image can actually be nicer done in black and white.
Oh, okay.
That's all I'll say about that.
Okay, thanks.
And emphasize the rather than the color.
Okay, thank you.
John, tell me when I'm there. I'm not
It's
seeing the names. Oh, yes, I am. Here we are. Want to move that.
Okay.
Oh, gosh. So we're in Scarlet, John.
Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, there it is.
With this one?
Back, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Comment on this shot. I don't know if you're at a beautiful place. I think a beautiful image here. It doesn't stand out among like many other shots of mountains, the icebergs. Now, here's what I fear, okay? I fear you look at this and thought, oh, look at that iceberg with that kind of cone thing shaking up on it. That's unusual. And you took an image of it, okay? With the mountains in the background. Am I wrong on this? That you were like, oh, those are interesting icebergs, and I'm going to pick them and get the mountain background.
Yes.
Am I wrong on that?
That's correct.
Oh, really?
That's correct.
Well, tell me what, because here's why what I don't like about the shot. Oh, that is correct. I don't like that piece sticking up there on the left-hand side, okay? To me, it distracts from the photo, okay? It's just weird. Now, ice can look weird, all right? But it looks weird in that image, okay? If you were going to take a picture of the mountain, then take a picture of the mountains and go ahead and have some stuff in front, okay? Because that makes a good foreground, all right? But if you want to take a picture of ice, then look at those interesting shapes on it, okay? Get out longer lens and take a picture of the ice. It just looks constant. That's what I would say. It doesn't look like it really belongs in the shot.
Thank you.
But congratulations on your travels. Was this in Europe?
In Patagonia.
Patagonia, okay. So that's what I'd say. If you want to take a picture of the ice, interesting ice, take a picture of the interesting ice. If you want to take a picture of the mountain, find something, an interesting foreground that's going to look in contrast.
Thank you.
Did somebody else have a review on?
Just one in this division, the New York City skyline, and I don't know if you had the same comments. The foreground was
that one here.
Distracting. It's toward the end.
Oh my goodness gracious!
That was the one with the piers?
Thumbnail view for some reason.
Had all the piers and the seagulls in front of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's nicely done, but I bet you were the only photographer there, were you?
What's that?
I said, that's nicely done, but I bet you're not the only photographer there.
The only photographer that's been there, you said?
No, I bet that when you took the shot, you were not the only photographer there. I bet there were other photographers taking that shot.
Yeah, there was
And that's
several.
my with that shot is that it's an
several.
iconic shot. It's fun to take iconic shots. Okay? Like I said, I went to Yellowstone. All you can take are iconic shots at Yellowstone. All right, it's really hard to take some. It's an iconic shot that hasn't been done a million times before. That particular spot and that particular image has been done a lot before. And it's the only reason I didn't include it in the top 5. Okay.
Yeah,
So
there's
you have that shot. You did a job on it. You own that shot.
farther,
Okay?
farther,
Well
farther.
done. But the reason I didn't put it in the top 5 because I've seen shot like that before. It's a cool spot. If I was there, I could say I swell.
Are you
Yeah.
sure, Scarlet, Richard? I don't see
Yeah,
it.
it's right. It's right
Number 3.
there.
Where?
On the bottom.
This?
New York Nights, that's
Yeah,
the one.
there it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. And you did a really nice job on it. Okay. Especially seagulls on it.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's, again,
there's
the only reason I
several-
did not put that in the 5. If this was the first time I had seen that shot, okay, it would have been in the top 5. All right. But I've seen it done before. That's all.
Yeah, there's.
You have it. You own this one. You did a job on it. I print this up and frame it. It's definitely worth that.
Yeah, there's several these Italian guys that live in New York that have a YouTube video. They talked about this shot. They show it in different times of the day, and yeah, it's kind of an iconic shot. So you basically said you've seen it a million times.
Yep. And again, you did a nice job on it.
For those
I
of
just
us
didn't think
who,
distinctive enough.
for those of us who are novices, tell us how you shot that, Richard.
Oh, it was on a tripod with the release. Let's see, I did mirror up to stop the vibration, and then ISO 64, which a Nikon 810 goes down that far, and then was F11 at about 25 or 30 seconds.
How do you get the cells to sit still 25 or 30 seconds?
What's that?
Said, how do you get the seagull to sit still for 20 or 30 seconds?
It was 15 degrees, and all of us photographers were frozen, and then so were the seagulls. There was a little wind, and they were sitting still to try to stay warm.
So 15-second shot, it allows them to get really cool smoothness to water. Okay. Casting it up, do you the seagulls make brighter?
Wow, I heard something about seagulls, but everything else was broken up.
Seagulls
Yeah,
bright.
you dye the seagulls. When you process the image, okay, did you make the seagulls brighter?
Did I make the seagulls bigger?
No, brighter.
Some in the
Right.
front. Some in the front. I
In the foreground, okay.
dodged
okay.
a little bit, so you.
I like that. I like that because to me that's the thing that makes it stand out from my images I've seen. Okay, and those seagulls on. You might tone it a little bit. Okay, but how much?
Try to do what?
You might tone it down. If you made seagulls lighter, you tone that just a little bit. I think you maybe overdone. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
They almost like they're so bright you can't really see the poles that they're sitting on. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're like dots rather than sitting poles.
Gotcha.
What you might do is instead of like just the seagulls, lighten and the post that on a little bit.
Okay.
I think the contrast is a bit more there. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Any others?
Great. Bruce, thank you so much. It is so helpful to have these kinds of comments. Yeah, I see John clapping. So it's just so incredibly helpful. And that's one of the things about the competitions that I enjoy, is that I learn so much by listening to the judge comment on all the photos and the other photos. It just is incredibly helpful. And thank you for being so thoughtful in your comments. Very appreciated.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I'm honored to judge the end.
Good.
I enjoyed it.
Good. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. We all good,
Thank you.
guys?
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you.
You did exactly what I hoped, Bruce. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
If you're hoping for me to talk, okay, do that. All right. So as long as that's what you want me to do, you won't be disappointed. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.